So I want to ask you something. What's the point of having a fire lane in front of a business if not only are people going to ignore it and park in it when they're not supposed to? It's hard to see the little stripes up there, but that's definitely a fire lane. Just about every retail place like this of any size has a fire lane in front of it. Not supposed to park there. Look at that fine gentleman. He's getting in his car. See, bless his heart, he didn't have to walk very far. He didn't have to suffer like the rest of us that parked out here in the parking lot like we should have. He's better than everybody else, along with all those other clowns that do that. See, maybe you can't get out. No, there's the other one right there. Bless those people's hearts. Aren't you glad for them that they don't have to suffer and get wet and walk very far? And this guy here, that business says Hudson Company. His truck's parked right there in that nice, expensive truck there. Come on, Grandpa, get it out. You can do it. All the time you save not having to walk out in the parking lot. But you know, the bad part of this is that people also, they do this because the businesses, they won't call the cops on them because the cops come up here and start writing tickets. Then these fuss budgets will get upset and go to Facebook and go everywhere else that they can get an audience for their griping like this. And they'll say, well, I'm just not going to go there no more because they wrote me a ticket. And I just go somewhere else. They're manipulators is what they are. They try to manipulate businesses. And so businesses are scared to do this, to enforce this thing. So you never see the cops. The cops probably park in it too. So everywhere I've went, I see this all the time. And people that do this, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to be ashamed of yourself for being so damn lazy that you park right in front of a building where you're not supposed to. And then the cops and the city officials ought to be ashamed of themselves as well for not. Oh, is this him? There he comes. Hey, Big Daddy, yeah, look at that. Man, you ought to be proud of yourself. Son of a bitch. I bet you thought you were going to melt, didn't you? Get that fat ass in there. Come on, is that another one going to pull in? I could sit here all day complaining about this. It just goes on and on. Most people are good enough that decent enough people and not so fucking lazy that they'll park out here in the parking lot and just get a little wet. But those fools, let's see if I'd keep looking here to see who the next one's going to be. See, I would never make it working in a place like this. I had to stop and get some groceries, but I would never make it working in a place like this because I'd go out there and confront them. This is one of my pet peeves, if you haven't been able to tell already. This is one of my pet peeves because this and school zones, people that speed through school zones. So I'm not a mean person, but I'm all for making people miserable and suffer if they do stuff like this. Give them tickets. Keep writing them tickets. Write them tickets till they don't have any money left. Just keep doing it, and then see what happens, because that's all people understand sometimes. They say, well, you should just take the high road and don't say anything about it. Just look the other way. Well, I don't look the other way because people, these goons that do this stuff, park in fire lanes. There's one right there doing it. Lazy bones. But people that park in these fire lanes like this and speed through school zones, they do this because there's no retribution. They don't have to pay any penalty for doing it, so that's why they do it. So I'm all for it. Write them tickets. Make them pay for it. If they want to do it, if they want to exercise their laziness, then make them pay for it. But guys, don't do this. Park in the damn parking lot. If you're handicapped, then they have plenty of handicapped spots right out here in the front, right out front from the door. So, just be a little bit better than